the chances of it raining throughout the day, it keeps getting higher, right? Okay, well, there's scattered thunderstorms expected. There's 93% of humidity. That's going to be rainfall, water, rain at some point in time. The wind will be at 11 kilometers per hour. For those who drive, you know what that means. For those who don't drive, I don't know how to, I'm trying to come up with it, how that would happen anyway. But there's a big chance that it will rain today. So dress for the weather. Which of the weather now? The rainy one or the sunny one? Whichever one works for you. Let's just dress for one that works for you. But at the end of the day, women, beware of makeup. I hear people's makeup have been breaking out. When it gets sunny, it's too sunny. When it gets rainy, it's just too much water. Stay with me as I bring up the headlines. Don't mind me.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I'm ready. Let's take on the biggest debates on radio, provide insights, experience, and build an unforgettable discussion together. I am Femi D. Amele.
Morning Crossfire on 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, then, welcome. Let's take a look at some of the biggest stories as we have them across the papers for today. Do you remember we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube? Yes, Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. Okay, there you find it at Nigeria Info Abuja. On YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja as well. So you can use that platform to check out some of the live messages as we go through them, all right? I'll look forward to your messages. Let's review stories from this day: Punch, Daily Post, The Sun, and Leadership for today. Do you remember the stories have been published under the editorial guide of various publishers? And we on Nigeria Info are only informing you of the headlines as we have them for today.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Starting off with this day for today, that's 12th of October 2023. NUPRC optimistic, ExxonMobil, Seplat, NNPC will follow due process in asset sale deal. Bayelsa, INEC assures of electronic voting. Obi wants more on Tinubu. BBC says no evidence of forgery. Article differs. At $30 million US drilling costs per gas well, operators push for review of fiscal policies in sector. Other stories still with this day. At IMF World Bank meetings, Jimo Ibrahim canvasses new measure to resolve Africa's debt crisis. All right, you'll also find global NGO blames bad governance in Nigeria on lack of moral and ethical standards. And good to establish 300,000 hectares of farmland in each senatorial district for cultivation of cash crops for exports. IMF to Nigeria focus more on policies to safeguard vulnerable persons. All right, there's that sort of story. Or Hikire, APC factions need to unite ahead of Kogi Guba poll. Imo Guba election now, Labour Party raises alarm over identity theft. Controversy persists as Akeredolu governs Ondo from outside. When Southeast governors brainstorm on politics, security, and economy, there's a story about that as headlined that way in this day. As Abiodun floors Adebutu at Ogun Tribunal, eyes on IG over police extortion scandal in Rivers. Okay, I think these are just some of the stories of interest as well. Professor Pate says Nigeria is working on new health sector agenda. Okay, that's quite a story there. How the Heart Africa marks 9 years of impact in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, that's also of interest there. Well, these are just some of those stories there that would be of interest to you. From sports, I see Eden Hazard retires from football at 32. Inter Miami insists no transfer for Messi, especially those who are speculating about him. Away from this day to Punch now. We will wipe Hamas off the face of the earth, says Israel Prime Minister. Rising costs pose threat to manufacturers, says man. Nigerian oil firms acquire 26 divested licenses in 10 years. Tech training application for Nigerians open soon, says federal government. American investors eye opportunities in Nigeria. Certificate forgery, Atiku Obi protest as BBC fact checkers clear Tinubu. Lower inflation, protect poor citizens, IMF tells Nigeria. EFCC recovers 27 billion naira, 19 million US dollars, probe ex-governors, ex-ministers. Ohaneze hails Igboho's release, asks Tinubu to free Kanu. Lagos demolishes structures obstructing drainages. Eagles known AFCON opponents today. Police nab 2 ladies for murdering Kwara socialite. 5 officers summoned as Lagos policeman clash with motorists. Gunmen shoot technician dead in Rivers. Motorists raise concern over cops on Lagos-Ibadan highway. Bauchi housewife accused of beating stepdaughter to death seeks forgiveness. FCTA shuts 2 substandard private schools. Edo police nab wanted Syria kidnapper. Father arrested for defiling 13-year-old daughter in Lagos. Residents of Lagos slum protest extortion by hoodlums. Rising costs pose threat to manufacturers, says man. I did take that already. Okay, well, those are just some of the stories there. Yeah, those are just some of the stories of interest, this very morning. Abga ready to reclaim Imo, says Soludo. Tinubu's certificate, president will be free like Obama. Indian PM. That's according to 107 APC ex-senators. Let's check in with Daily Post for today. How 2 Christian judges conspire to remove me from office. Nasarawa Governor Abdullahi Sule speaks on this. And this is so below him. I would have thought if he's going after judges, it would have been proper than to go after them from perspective of religion. Now, I wish this was better. Well, maybe it's just the editor who decided to write it out that way. Nigeria has grown as cooking gas price soars. Certificate forgery. Daily Momodu releases articles school calendar. Israeli-Hamas conflict. Jordan backs Palestine. Time for Tinubu to do things right. Full text of Peter Obi's press conference. There's also tell truth about Nigeria. Information Minister Idris to broadcast houses. Every Hamas member is a dead man. Israel vows to wipe out Palestinian group. Okay? And by the way, just to clear things up, Israel have continued to emphasize that the grudge they have is with Hamas, not with Palestine. Okay? Impeachment. Chief Judge declines Ondo Assembly's directive to set up panel against Ayedatiwa. That's against the deputy governor. Tinubu's certificate saga, broken voice note of article, APC Lablast Obi. You can never be Nigeria's president. Pathetic desperado. Omokiri goes after Peter Obi. PDP accuses INEC of vote allocation in Nasarawa Guba election. Certificate forgery. Daily Momodu releases article school calendar. By Esa Guba now, APC elders reject judgment disqualifying Silva. Nasarawa Guba now, PDP queries votes allocated to Governor Suleba INEC. By Esa Guba, INEC integrity under scrutiny now over choice of manual transmission. Okay, well, that's that. That's from sports. I can't play one game a month. Maguire wants Ten Hag about Man United future. EPL referees kick against new change in VAR. Ballon d'Or isn't important. Real Madrid's Toni Kroos. Man United made mistake over the gear, says Ben Foster. Serie A, Conte takes decision to become Napoli's new manager. Moving on to leadership newspaper for today now. You find Governor Bala Mohammed inaugurates Abuja Bauchi Value Jet daily flight. Certificate saga, Atiku Obi kick as BBC clears Tinubu of forgery. Amid scarcity, liter petrol sells for 700 naira, 615 naira in Sokoto, Gombe, and others. Sanwo-Olu to tackle bottlenecks for Lagos economic development. Sanwo-Olu Rights Assembly seeks reordering of 2023 budget. Rotary Clubs, Uni Abuja Hospital seeks inclusive mental health policy. Makinde wants police to reduce checkpoints in Oyo. Oyebanji declares zero tolerance for indolence in Ekiti public service. Police arrest kidnappers, recover UK residents permit, 8 ATM cards, and others. Davido Chioma welcome twins in USA. Liberia decides, results still on the way from there. Okay, keeping up with other stories. Why poverty elevation schemes fail in Nigeria. INEC conducts mock voter accreditation for Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi polls. Bayelsa, Ganduje says court verdict won't derail APC. CSU certificate. Igbo group tackles Obi over attack on Tinubu. And then from sports here, you'll see the likes of AFCON 2023. Super Eagles, no foes today. Further comment, still paying fuel subsidy. IPMAN chairman insists. Obasanjo advocates use of homegrown solutions to solving Africa's challenges. All right, well, these are some of the stories that you find across the papers for today, and I do hope you've listened closely enough to make good comments about them. Do remember the stories have been published under the editorial guide of various publishers, and we on Nigeria Info have only informed you of the headlines as we have them for today.
This is Morning Crossfire.
All right, let's take all your calls this very morning. As we listen to you, we ask of you to follow through with our editorial guide. Your calls need to be devoid of hateful speech, lies, fake news, and abuses. We ask of you to be truthful and factual as you share with us on Nigeria Info. We'll plead with you to keep your emotions in check as you also call in.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Let's get a chance to listen to you. The numbers remain 0700-951-0000. Okay? That's 0700-951-0000. That will have to be the phone lines you can call on. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. There you go. At Nigeria Info Abuja for you to join in at any point in time on our Facebook page this very morning. Okay, you can also join in on 080-9597-4869. And surely enough, on WhatsApp, it's 080-999-30137. Good morning.
Watch your number one talk station of the nation. Nigeria Info, every day of the week, Mondays to Friday, on YouTube to catch up with the Morning Crossfire.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
All right, that is stay true, so I'll just go to the next line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Timothy.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
From speaking.
All right, Charles, good to connect with you.
BBC become the fact takers of nations' political issues. That's number one.
One, okay.
Secondly, you can see the comment coming from a governor in Nasarawa State, a country that there has been a lot of religion, ethnic bigotries everywhere. And it's coming, this is their king that leads them. And their followers who are so gullible will follow this trend, and it becomes a problem in the nation. Thirdly, mockery that spoke about Obi. I am not one of the Obi supporters, but I think he has been in America. He did not participate in a vote. He didn't vote this last election. When did he also become the spokesperson of Atiku or the spokesperson of Tinubu? You just see a lot of people looking for political attention. They have been out of power, so they need something to put into their pocket. May God have it.
All right. But I doubt that people come after BBC when they make critical analysis of things that favor people's opinion. What about that? Because I've also heard you guys sometimes, some people credit BBC, some people credit Financial Times, and at other times go after them. I'm just wondering. Okay. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
My brother Femi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good to connect with you.
Yes, Chinedu. Let me laugh at BBC report. Hey, my country, Nigeria. Why are you people dressing Nigeria like this? So BBC now don't turn to U.S. court. And someone come and testify that Tinubu, the sentence that Tinubu submitted to INEC is forged. It's not that they don't know about it. And they people celebrating BBC report. Who do Nigeria this, my brother? Why is Nigeria too low like this? BBC report, APC celebrating it, that they have really cleared Tinubu. Cleared Tinubu in what? Hey, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. What is happening in Nigeria today, my brother? Who does this? Who does Nigeria this, my brother? BBC report, APC celebrating that have cleared Tinubu. It's a shame to Nigeria. It's a shame to Nigeria, my brother.
All right. Well, BBC cannot clear Tinubu. What they endure in their own report, what they put together is a fact check system, and at the end of their fact check, their report stipulates that that is clear that the certificate is authentic. Okay, so what that leads to essentially is to say they can't clear him. They can only fact check what they've seen, and who knows what they've seen. Okay, good morning. Yes. Yes, good morning. All right, Kingsley.
Yeah, how is work?
Work is good. Let's talk.
This BBC, are they for us or are they against us?
Do they have to choose a side?
This BBC, I think, is British Broadcasting Corporation, right?
Yes, it is.
And they are the ones that colonized us. They want us to still remain in their colony. How can BBC be giving us this type of information? Tinubu's certificate, there are so many contradictions. Which evidence did they give us? To arrive at the point of clearing him? The court in USA, the Chicago State University, they have come out and they have given us the facts, everything about Tinubu. Why?
Oh, okay. That is stay true. Okay, so let me read a little bit of what the BBC report. The article is started. Bola Tinubu diplomat. No evidence Nigeria president forged college record. There is no evidence that the diplomat Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted to the country's electoral commission. Now, listen to this. To the country's electoral commission was forged. The BBC's global disinformation team has found. Allegations that President Tinubu's certificates were faked went viral on social media following the release by Chicago State University of his academic records last week. We have looked at some of the most widely circulated claims. The release of the president's academic documents is a accumulation of a judicial case filed in August by one of his main rivals in February presidential election, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, that's People's Democratic Party. Mr. Abubakar was hoping to have the victor disqualified after accusing him of falsifying the CSU Diploma of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration awarded in 1979 that is submitted to the Electoral Authority, INEC. To obtain evidence for his case in Nigeria, Mr. Abubakar approached a U.S. court in August requesting it to compel CSU to release Mr. Tinubu's academic records through a process called discovery, where the parties exchange information, including documents ahead of a trial. Mr. Tinubu's lawyers opposed the discovery application, citing privacy concerns, but the U.S. courts decided it should proceed. The documents requested by Mr. Abubakar were a copy of any diploma issued by CSU in 1979, a copy of diploma CSU gave to Mr. Tinubu in 1979, copies of diplomas with the same font, seal, signature, and wording awarded to other students that are similar to what CSU awarded to Mr. Tinubu in 1979. Documents from CSU that were certified by Jamar Orr, who was then a staff member of CSU in the 12 months from the 1st of August to 2022. Now, in response to the request 1, CSU submitted 7 diplomas covering different disciplines with the names of students redacted. According to the university's registrar, these diplomas had not been collected by the students. In response to request 2, CSU stated that it could not find the diploma they issued to Mr. Tinubu in 1979 because they do not keep copies of diplomas already collected by students. In response to request 3, CSU stated that it produced for Mr. Tinubu a replacement diploma dated 27th of June 1979. It also released diplomas awarded to other students that bore similar fonts, seals, signatures, and wordings as Mr. Tinubu's diplomas. In response to request 4, CSU submitted other academic documents initially attested to and released by Mr. Orr. In line with the judge's ruling, Mr. Abubakar's lawyer, Angela Liu, last week questioned Caleb Westberg, CSU's current registrar, in a deposition. The BBC was given access to the deposition transcript by Mr. Abubakar's spokesperson, Frank Swaibu. Some social media users in Nigeria allege that the deposition and diplomas released by CSU confirmed that the diploma submitted to INEC by Mr. Tinubu was forged. This claim was also repeated by one Mr. Abubakar's lawyer, Kalu, at a press conference last week. We found there was no evidence to support this claim. The CSU released several diplomas issued between 1979 and 2003. We analyzed all of them. There are 3 different diplomas of Mr. Tinubu that we referred to throughout our analysis. The original one from 1979, which said in the past was lost when he went into exile in the 90s. The second one that is submitted to INEC, supposedly a replacement from CSU, it's similar to diplomas issued by CSU in the 90s. Additionally, CSU holds another replacement diploma for Mr. Tinubu that they say is probably from the early 2000s that he never collected. So, here we go. 3 things to follow through. That the first one was lost after he went into exile in 1990s. That the second one submitted to INEC, supposedly a replacement diploma from CSU, is similar to the diplomas issued by CSU at that time. And then the last part, that CSU holds another replacement diploma for Mr. Tinubu. They say is probably from the early 2000s that he never collected. But I think the key one here is, what did they submit to INEC? They say whatever is submitted to INEC was a document that is authentic enough, similar enough to all diplomas issued by CSU at the time. So that's what BBC's position is on the discussion or on the subject, as one would find. I know there are many parts of this, and they go on to make comparisons. So I'll give you room to analyze and respond more informed after the news at 7, okay? I just want us to understand what BBC is coming from on this story. Stay with me after the break. There's more to talk about right here on Nigeria Info.
In the comfort of your home, on your way to work, in the midst of your daily activities, your Let's Talk station is here to keep you informed. Only on your number one for talk, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk
That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info